Hey guys, hope you're doing well. We are back on our 93 Miata today. We have plenty of new parts and a ton to do, so let's just go ahead and get right into it. A few weeks ago, we picked up a handful of parts for this car, most notably a new carpet kit from Moss Miata and a redesigned center console from IL Motorsport. Now, one of my favorite things to do is put new parts on old cars, but we've still got our work cut out for us. Taking this car down to bare metal definitely took a good bit of effort, but it really helps up the overall quality of the project because we get to account for the aspects of the car that are usually hidden.
Nice.
Now, we did find some rust, but the good thing was that for the floors, it was just surface rust, so some sanding and chemicals made easy work of it. We then followed it up by coating the floors to prevent it in the future. Now, we did have some heavier rust to deal with, but thankfully it was all on removable panels, so I was able to source some replacement panels, which made a huge difference. Now, going this route gave us the opportunity to basically go through some of the more foundational aspects of this car and then build off of it with new parts.
Oh, that is really nice.
So first up is our new carpet. And a big shout out to Moss Miata because as you can see from this rear section, they already have the holes cut out, making our job a ton easier. Now I've never messed with new carpet before, but it seems pretty self-explanatory, and the guys over at Moss do send an instruction manual. Now in a nutshell, what you're doing is you're gluing the insulation down to the floors of the car, and then you're gluing the carpet to the insulation. Here we have the insulation mocked up. It's pretty close, not perfect, but it's insulation. You don't really need it to be perfect. You can see the mounting points for the seats, but the main thing of note is just gonna be the bolt hole for the seat belt. Now the bolt's about right here, so that doesn't line up. Don't really know what that is, but not really a big deal. We can just cut out a hole pretty easily. I'm starting by mocking the carpet into position to get an understanding of how it sits naturally before gluing the pieces down. The main difference with this carpet in terms of installation is it's in 8 separate sections as opposed to the factory carpet, which is, I believe, just 3. So with this many pieces, I'm noting how they layer over each other, but the main difference is in the floors. You can see for the floors, there's now 3 sections for the driver's side and 3 for the passenger, but the seat back section and the rear shelf are pretty much the same. This carpet instantly adds so much life back into this car. It really helps to not be looking at those bare floors anymore. Now, in the car, the color looks a lot closer to factory, so definitely really happy about that. Now, before we can start installing the carpet, there's a few plastics that I need to address and put back in the car, starting with this rain rail. I thought that this was in better condition than it is, but it's got cracks all throughout. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and just pick up a new one. Fortunately though, I found this one on Facebook Marketplace for 60 bucks. New in box, all that good stuff. Definitely really happy I was able to find a new one of these for a deal because this is where restoration for this car gets a little tedious. There's a lot of miscellaneous plastics and random parts that theoretically shouldn't be expensive, but are. If anything, I'm just glad so many of these parts are reproduced. Has a little bend in it from being in the box for who knows how long, but it's a flexible material, so it should still line up anyway. These are some of the other plastic pieces I was referencing. I'm not sure of the name of these pieces, but they help route water out of the vehicle and they work in tandem with the rain rail. Now the kink in the rain rail is going to stop it from naturally sitting where it needs to, so it takes a little bit of work to get it to line up, but ultimately it's just a bunch of malleable plastic anyway, plus the hardware helps secure it in position, so no real worries here. Then the rain rail molding gets secured on top of this thing. Off camera, I sanded these things down since they were a bit rusty, and then with a coat of paint, they're looking good as new. For glue, I picked up this 3M contact adhesive. Now it is a little heavier duty, but considering we have this foil sound deadening, this is gonna give us a better adhesion. Now I'm not gonna do anything back here because there's still some work that we're gonna be doing here after the fact, but the main concept is you spray this on the surface as well as on the back of the insulation, and then you press them down, and that's basically it. From there, we're gonna do the same thing on the other side, so more glue on top. And you can see back here it has this like rubbery texture, which is going to be great for contact, and spray this as well. Then you just marry the two together. But we're going to start off with specifically just all the insulation. Since I had everything mocked up where I want it, the easy way to go about this installation is to fold it in half and take care of a half at a time. Being that you're spraying the bottom side of these pieces anyway, this helps make sure everything stays where it needs to and you're not in a rush. Once you've laid down the glue, you want to wait 2 minutes for it to get tacky, so per usual, I have a game playing in the background. These pieces already have all the holes cut out, which makes the process go by pretty quickly, and the fact that we're adding this and have already added sound deadening and loomed the wires, the cabin should be pretty quiet, all things considered. Moving on to the sides of the center console, we're doing just about the same thing, just another layer up. We're getting pretty close to finishing up this carpet install, and it's looking pretty good. Just got a couple things left. Mainly what we need to do is cut out the openings for the seat bolts. We already took care of this one for the seat belt. Really happy with how flush it is, but there is a little bit of play in this in how far up or far back you want it. Secondly, we need to address this little vinyl piece. So this is meant to be the edge of the carpet. So what the instructions say to do, that I should probably follow a little more closely, is you're going to spray some glue down on the edge and you're going to use some clamps to hold this in position. So I did have to swing by Lowe's to get a third one of these. We've gone through those other two and then picked up a few of these clamps. These are only $3 a pop, but we did the job. They're small and just little C clamps so we can press it in position. Now I did end up going about these edge pieces a little prematurely. We have a paint job for this car looming, so these door jambs are going to end up being undone anyway. I also think in revisiting this, I would change the approach some, maybe getting a small piece of wood to spread out the contact and clamp that down. I feel like this way, though it is what's suggested, the areas between the clamps weren't as flush as where the clamp was making contact. Now, as for cutting out the holes here, I did keep the original factory carpet so I could use it as a template, but considering that this is in sections and this is just one big piece, don't really have a use for this anymore. So I'd been holding on to this, keeping it here in the garage for really no reason. Again, even more love to Moss Miata because I noticed there's these markings on the underside of the carpet, and it turns out these are to tell you where to cut out. They line up perfectly with the mounting points and even have an indication of where the seat harness passes through. For how small I made the cutouts, they still line up really well, but I will still be expanding them more once we're ready to put the seats back in. Cuts are made, everything is lining up as it should. We are about to be done with the passenger side. Now I imagine they don't cut these out themselves for customization. Like if you're not going a factory route with your interior, no need to stick with factory cutouts in your carpets. Though this kit is a little different from what you'd get from factory, it definitely makes the install a lot easier as a whole. Plus, the carpet is even softer than before. And just like that, the interior carpet is now complete. Well, kinda. There's still a few things we have to address with some hardware back here, and then the interior panels that cover up sections like right here. But not really worried about that just yet because the carpet itself is done. We don't have to address anything else other than maybe cutting some pieces. Like we do need to cut some right here, but that's specifically for the center console, which is up next. But as a whole, carpet is now done gluing, which is kind of the more annoying part because you do specifically need it to be like 70 degrees outside, otherwise the glue doesn't hold. So thankfully got it done just in time. Now our original center console has definitely seen its better days, and though it could just be cleaned up, the new one we have is really going to upgrade this car as a daily. So here's a pretty direct comparison between the two center consoles. Obviously this one being factory as it's dirty and actually has the shift boot. This one being the new one from IO Motorsports, most notably the two cup holders right here on the side. And it's really just the storage compartment. So here, it's not very large, but it's still definitely usable. And then this one, of course, a lot more space. So here's them one-to-one, and you can definitely see really nice upgrade for the car. Now, before we can install this, we do have to swap some stuff over, namely the power window controls, this little bracket for the shift boot, then these other ends of the plugs. Doesn't look like anything too complicated though, a lot of screws namely, but should be a piece of cake. Everything attached to the center console is just held on by screws, making the swap probably one of the easier jobs that will come for this car. And just removing this piece, you can see how far gone the factory boot was. We are going to trash it, but we're going to be reusing this plastic bracket it's attached to. A single screw holds this wire and plastic cap, and then we have the harness for the window controls. Last is the lock located in the back of the console. Now, I don't know if I'm ever going to use this, to be completely honest, but considering it swaps right over, better to have it and not need it. Now, the boot is held in position by these small slits that line up with these extensions on the plastic bracket. Once we have the old boot off, we can give the bracket a good cleaning with some soapy water and shop towels. It cleans up pretty easily, and now we're ready for the new boot. Now, one thing about this shift boot that you might not notice, because I didn't notice initially, it does have little slits here to mount onto the little bracket. So big shout out to Moss Miata for that, because I know there's a handful of companies that make these that do not have that. It's not like it's super difficult to do if you buy a different one, but just having it is that nice little attention to detail. Lining up the slits and feeding the tabs through them is pretty satisfying. What's really cool is you can see the boot start to take shape as it's being lined up, and pretty quickly it's ready to be installed. We've cleaned everything up, it's ready to be reassembled, so here's how we're looking. We have new shift boot on the old bracket, cleans up pretty well. Really like the structure of that. Obviously the new center console. I did clean up the harnesses as well, so this one's the one for the windows. Now this plug with this bulb at the end, really don't know what this is for. Pretty sure it doesn't work and it hasn't worked in a while. And then cleaned up the lock for the back. Did not see this. Now with the redesign, the window controls are moved closer to the shifter. It feels just about the same though, since they're still in front of the storage compartment. Just this compartment is longer, pushing them further. The lock lines up just like before with a couple screws to secure it in position. And the only thing you have to account for is the little arm on the shift boot bracket. What once was empty space is now being utilized by the new cup holders, so you do need to remove it, but it's pretty thin plastic, so some scissors can cut it right off. With that piece removed, it now lines up perfectly, and we are done swapping everything over, leaving this piece looking good as new. This thing assembled looks awesome, definitely how I feel they should have designed it from the factory. Now, the one thing that I did not do was reinstall this light, because where the factory one has this little mounting point for it, this one didn't have anything there, and I actually even needed to modify the bracket, cut off some of the little arms that hold this in position. But because of that and the fact that it's a single bulb and it's not working, I figure we'll be okay for the time being. So overall, not really much to worry about here. You do need to put the dashboard first and then the tombstone after that. This is actually last, but I just want to see what it looks like because the dashboard's going to take a ton more effort. I'm not going to be screwing anything down. It's really just letting it sit in its spot to get a feel for how this interior is coming together. And just mocking it up definitely gave me a lot of motivation to get this thing going. This is going to come right back off as well, but I just think it's worth checking out. Definitely missing a dashboard, but this thing looks really clean. New carpet, new center console. So the dashboard is going to take a good bit of effort, so we're going to take a quick pause to pick out what Red Bull we're going to drink today. So we have this one, obviously just the normal sugar-free one, nothing super fancy. We did pick up these three from a gas station that imports them. So this is passion fruit, and then I don't know what this one is. This one's pineapple. Or we also do have the advent calendar, and we're gonna see which Red Bull we have today and basically just choose from there. Is it in the front or the back?
This is.
Oh, there we go.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, what day are we on? We're on 10.
We're on number 10.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Stop!
Okay, we have to drink this one because one, it matches the interior, but the really cool thing about the pomegranate one is this one was discontinued, no?
It's not available anymore.
But they brought it back specifically for the advent calendar. So
How much did you say it was going on Facebook Marketplace?
these are selling individually for like $20.
Yeah, no,
It's just crazy.
for us.
All right, good pull though. Good pull.
You know what? You put it in the cup holder.
We gotta try this. I'm gonna go sit in. Let's see what it's like pretending to shift in there.
Dude, you don't put it in a car seat. I just get to lay here.
No, this is the thing. This is like
You should do this.
this is comfortable, no?
Yes.
Because that's one of the things about this carpet. It's more plush than factory, which I really like. What do you think?
I like this. I think we should opt out of the seats. It'll make you faster.
I mean, they're super
I like
low
this.
profile.
This is comfy.
Your feet.
I like it.
Think about it. Initially, it was drinks right here, so if you're gonna shift, you'd go over. But yeah, no, this is perfect.
And I can put my phone
Mhm.
right here.
I didn't even think about it, but like just as a full-on armrest. This is nice.
Ooh, your hands are cold.
We shift together. I always thought that it'd be Red Bulls that go in there first. I mean, if we want to go on Facebook Marketplace and spend another $20 for this one, especially at this angle, it really matches the carpet. This is beautiful. I've been looking forward to getting the dashboard reinstalled since before I even took it out. It's definitely a nice feeling to know there's no more cracks up here, but truth be told, I doubt many people aside from myself really even noticed. But nonetheless, the project was very rewarding. And shout out to you guys for helping me identify some of the components for this thing. Granted, now I'm just daydreaming about finding the tonneau cover for this car. Being 100% honest, I thought that would take a good bit more effort. It feels like it sits in place, and looking at all the mounting points for the bolts, everything lines up. Now the steering column isn't hard to reinstall, it's just really hard to get the clearance needed to secure it, as you might be able to tell by this camera angle. With the dashboard back in, we can go ahead and start reassembling everything. We still have a ton of projects to do on this car. We have the doors, the head unit, the sound system, the rev limiter stuff, the steering wheel. But ultimately, we got all the foundational stuff done. The rust, the floors, the sound dampening, the carpet. the dashboard, which is a big one. So rather than trying to do all these extensive and thorough projects all at the same time, I want to get this thing back to being roadworthy so that we can compartmentalize all these projects, really take our time with them. So take, for example, the door. Rather than just throwing a door panel on there, what we can specifically do is go through the assembly, the latches, the speakers, the motor, rebuild the door panel as a whole, basically go through everything, make sure it's tip-top shape, and take our time with them individually and even give them their own dedicated videos. This way we can get back in the car and I can see what the best route is for some of these projects. The seats bolt right back in, but I did pick up a new piece for this car. This is the shift boot insulator that this car actually did not have. Also, this scratch is just from playing tug of war with the dog, so all good, but just in case you guys were wondering. Now this was gonna be a quick addition, but this insulator also came with an additional insulator for the lower section of the shifter. Considering the one it has more or less just fell apart in removal, definitely happy to install this piece as well. I'm not sure if there's a specific way to install this, but I figured since it's rubber, I could probably just manhandle it until it was in position, but I definitely suggest some gloves next time. And then it slides back on just the same with 3 bolts. Now with the insulator, there's also some insulation that I could add in the material that resembles carpet padding, but full transparency, I forgot to order some, and since ultimately it's not necessary, we can say it's intentional for the time being. We also have a new tombstone for the car that should pair really well with the new center console. The only thing we have to do is swap the module up here for the hazards and pop-ups, but the more I remove, the more I really question what the previous owner did with this car, because this is pretty gross. But that's also what I really enjoy about going as in-depth as we did. We'll get the opportunity to build this car up with new parts or address the old parts and try to bring some life back into them. And then when everything's said and done, you can look at the car as a whole and you'll realize you've addressed pretty much everything. At this point, you can definitely tell what's new and what's not. But one piece that's definitely going to make it pretty obvious are going to be the seat belts and these panels that go with them. Now, I really don't have any idea on how to restore these things. The only thing that I can think of, well, I got 2 things that I can think of. The first is to basically get a replacement piece. I don't know if this is reproduced. Basically get another one that's in pristine condition and then painting it, which I don't actually know how that would end up. But considering I do want to get the seats reupholstered, another idea is there are shops out there that they'll do entire interiors. They'll basically reupholster plastic pieces and dye other pieces and make everything this really nice uniform color. Now granted, that would cost a ton, but the projects that I've seen done and the overall uniformity and like luxurious feel of the interior, I think it might be worth it. Granted, not anytime soon, but maybe down the road. So after about 5 minutes, I realized there is a good bit more to do than I initially remembered. But here's a little POV. Again, all the new pieces and probably the best thing. Just like that. So what we're going to be doing next is I'm going to be soldering this connection right here. I had this little heat shrink connector, which nothing against these, but you can tell it's pretty old and beat up. So I'm just going to be soldering it for now because the steering wheel doesn't need to be replaced as a whole anyway. Now the next thing to address is the gauge cluster, mainly the temperature gauge. As soon as I turn the vehicle on, which you guys have probably seen, even at completely cold, it shows it's overheating right from the start. Now I'm not sure if this will work, but following some of the routes of the rev limiter stuff, when you're reinstalling the needles, you don't do it outside the vehicle. You take note of where the needles are at idle before removing them, and then when you're reinstalling everything, you put the gauge cluster back in the vehicle without the needles. You turn the car on and try to position the needles to match where they were initially at idle. So what I'm doing here is just positioning the needle where it theoretically would be, but needless to say, I think I need a new gauge cluster. Just gonna let her run for a little bit, and that works now too. So I was getting ready to jump the car, but when I did the initial connection, the headlights just both plopped down, so there was still some power. Decided to give it a kick, and here she is. Now with the majority of the car reassembled, it's finally time for our test drive with new pieces installed in the car. I didn't realize how much of a difference this new center console would make in this car, but of everything we've done, it's definitely my favorite upgrade so far. And that's definitely one of the things I love for this car, the aftermarket support. With so much we need to address for this car, rather than just fix or replace it, we can actually upgrade a ton. My goal for this car is really to make it a good daily car that you can drive without having to think about it, and with that, be able to drive it all the time. I definitely want to go for a lot of upgrades and new life to this car while still keeping it very obviously an LE. Of course, there's still plenty to do, but I'm just happy to be driving her around again. And of course, with Yvette having gifted me the center console, we need to go back and give her a ride as well. That's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like the video. It's the best way to support the channel. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one.